Today, I'm going to be talking about some of the reasons I chose the MacBook Pro over the MacBook Air. But I think it was a pretty easy decision. MacBook Pro?
Well, working 3 jobs, living out of a car. Mama never told me life would get this hard. Running around the world playing my guitar. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me, I'm a honky-tonk star.
The first difference is the price. There's a $300 difference between the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. But what do you get for the extra cost? There's a slight weight advantage to the MacBook Air, but really not very much. The Air is 2.8 pounds and the MacBook Pro is 3.0 pounds, so only 0.2 pounds of a difference. I think when the Air was first introduced, it was much lighter than the laptops that Apple made at the time. Because remember, back then, the laptops at that time, they had several different ports. They were a little bit thicker and a little bit heavier. So when the Air came out, it was much lighter than the MacBook Pros at the time. But now it seems that the MacBook Pro has caught up with the MacBook Airs as far as terms of weight goes. I've been carrying this MacBook Pro to and from work and around town. It fits nicely into a backpack and I would consider it very portable. The next big difference is the MacBook Pro has a fan. Nothing can affect a computer's performance more than thermal throttling, because I knew I would be editing highly compressed videos. I thought a fan may be necessary to get the best performance out of my MacBook Pro. Basically, I wanted to mitigate the slowdowns caused by thermal throttling. I've used it in many scenarios and I've never even heard the fan kick on. And after I've been using it, it is still cool to the touch, which is a way different than the computers of the past. If the fans have kicked on, I don't know that I've heard them kick on, which begs the question, if a fan kicks on and you don't hear it, is it really on? I don't know. A question for the ages, I guess. The Air also seems to have great performance. And if you're going to be editing 4K, 8-bit 4K, or 1080p, it'll handle that kind of video just fine. The MacBook Pro also has a gimmick bar or touch bar that can be used for many things. I use a touch bar to adjust the volume at least probably 2 or 3 times a day. But I don't know if it's worth the extra $300 to get the gimmick touch bar. You'll have to decide if that extra feature is worth it to you. But if it came down to it, if they took the touch bar off of the MacBook Pro, I could care less one way or the other. If I was going to do it all over again, I would still choose the MacBook Pro simply because of the heavy codecs that I use in videos. In my opinion, it was the best purchase for me because I use A7S III and they have more compressed codecs. I'm able to use the more compressed codecs with this computer and it saves me space as far as my hard drives go, and also saves me time as far as downloading files back and forth from the SD card to the computer to storage. Because the files are so much smaller, it makes that process a lot faster. But if you're not going to be doing much heavy video editing, and you're just doing more everyday tasks like web browsing and word processing, emails, stuff like that, I'm sure an Air would make a great computer. Still though, really wish Apple would have included the facial recognition. When you open up the lid, it recognizes you and turns the computer on. Also, I think it would have been nice to have some kind of touch control with the screen of this computer, either with the finger or the Apple Pencil. But I guess there's always next time, which is always the case with Apple. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.